Hi there, coming back after the Christmas break. I've got some new music very soon, some synth work on Police, the band, and an electro blues project that would be up next month, I think, I hope. But today I want to talk about this. So this is an album by Wolfgang Riechmann, Wunderbar, in 1979, and it's a sadly overlooked electronic gem from this era. So this is a very interesting album for several reasons. The first thing you notice, of course, is the look. That's one of many European musicians from that period, late 70s, early 80s, were hugely influenced by this look from Bowie. That's the thin white duke look from mid 70s to late 70s Bowie. They all did the look. Gary Newman, David Sylvan from Japan. It was the go-to look for new wave, cold wave musicians in that period of time. What about the music itself? The music is also influenced by several things. You just have to look at the first side. The first side starts with Wunderbar, which is in the vein of all that 70s so-called krautrock sound, because Riechmann was very active in that mid-70s, late 70s German scene. But this album is in a more electronic vein than what bands like Neu or Harmonia or of course Faust would do at the time. Wunderbar is sort of his version of that classic German rock sound from this period, but with more synthetic sounds. Second track, Abendlicht, sorry for the accent folks, is much more reminiscent of the, let's say, ambient sound of the mid-70s. It has a more Jean-Michel Jarre, Oxygen vibe, with very ethereal sound and but very also melodic piece of work. The third track on side one is Weltweit, and this one has a more Berlin School vibe to it, with a very strong rhythmic bass motif. It's much more Tangerine Dream style of songs. On side 2, you get a track called Himmelblau, which is also very krautrock style. The sort of stuff that Harmonia would do, very hypnotic, repetitive stuff. Harmonia would do that with a very electric sound. This is the more electronic kind of krautrock. And then also on side 2, you also have Silberland, which has a melody pretty much reminiscent of the Kraftwerk. More specifically, this is very Metropolis from Man Machine album. So in a way, with that album you get a real broad sense of what electronic music was like in the mid-70s, late 70s in Europe, and it borrowed from various influences from the big names of that time. But it's just not an album which is styled after other people. It's a complete original piece of work with a very distinctive sound. Of course, it's very tempting to speculate on what Riechmann would have done after that, because he was a pretty versatile kind of guy. We'll never know, because he was infamously stabbed to death shortly before the album release by some random drunk in an act of gratuitous violence, which sent a shockwave in the German scene at the time. But the album is still there. It's pretty easy to find. it's been reissued. The original is not too expensive. So if you're interested into electronic music, which is probably the case if you're watching this channel, you might want to take a listen to that if you didn't already know. Alright, that's it for today. Like and subscribe. See ya.